Yeah, I think we shall start. So, welcome you all. Good morning to everybody. Uh, I will just introduce the college, introduce the department, and we will start. Ours is the college with motto of Bahujan Hitay, Bahujan Sukhai. It is associated with a movement, Satya Shodhak movement. Our institution started in 2014, long back. Uh, and Shahu, Rajarshi Shahu was associated with our institution in the beginning. And yeah, many of our founding fathers were part of Satya Shodhak movement. Our college established, the institution established in 2014, but our college established in 1969. And this is uh, accredited by NAC, and it stood first in whole Maharashtra with seeking CGPA 3.79, and it is graded A double plus. The college has status of potential college with potential excellence, that is CPE, in the third phase in 2019. College secured Best College Award in 2004 and 2018 for two times by SPP University Pune. Our college is also DST FIST sponsored college. It is DBT Star College as well. UGC sponsored BVOC and MVOC programs are running in the college since 2014. Uh, UGC sponsored community program is also run by the college. Our college is mentor for UGC Paramarsh scheme in 2000, that launched in 2019. Principal Dr. VB Gaikwad is coordinator of this STIDE program, which we got a couple of years back by UGC. It is UGC funded uh, program, and fund is around 91 lakhs uh, we received for this program. And the STRIDE program, the long form of the STRIDE program is Scheme for Transdisciplinary Research for India's Developing Economy. And we applied for many programs, many sub-programs under the title Creation of Replicable Model for Sustainable Living through studies on agriculture, water conservation, health, renewable energy in rural areas. So we planned 5 different uh, projects under the scheme. One is sustainable and profitable farming. Second is energy and water self-reliance. Third is documentation of traditional knowledge. Fourth is exploring alternative revenue streams for the villages. And fifth is understanding and solving pertinent health issues. Uh, to make these sub plans and sub programs successful, we need a good human resource background. You see, we wanted to have students, teachers, and research students capable of research skills and practices. So we want to empower them. We want to uh, build capacity as far as research skill and research knowledge is concerned. So, Department of Sociology is part of this program. Uh, we are STAR department. Our department established in 1971, and this is the only department which has um, UGC sanctioned PG status. Uh, we started our PG program in 1976. Ours is STAR department of the college, organized 2 seminars, several state level seminars, and undertaking many research projects like understanding drought and many others. We conducted so many community oriented research rallies, organizations. We organizing the outreach programs. We We have documented some documentaries. Our students have uh, prepared some movies as well. We organize several workshops like Barefoot Researchers, and we are part of this program now. And for this capacity building uh, of the students and teachers, with this motto, we have started this lecture series, and today is the sixth and last day of the lecture series. And we have invited Amrita Gupta from Azad Foundation. He's head of the research wing there. Uh, I just said that we are not very foreign to Azad Foundation, and Azad Foundation is not very foreign for the department. Kushi and Astha visited our department and had informal talk, shared their stories, and inspired our students some 2-3 years back. So I welcome you all, welcome you, Amrita ma'am, and I request Krishna madam to introduce our guest and begin the session. Thank you. Krishna?
Hello. Yes. Hello, students, faculty, and Amrita ma'am. I would like to introduce you as a program director of Azad Foundation. Amrita Gupta ma'am has worked in research, advocacy, and communications. She has a master's in sociology and public health with over 10 years of research experience in training and advocacy. She has worked in fields of gender, health, sexual and reproductive health, adolescents, especially in context of mental health. She has worked with vulnerable communities and women. She is an excellent researcher with extensive research experience in exploratory evaluation and intervention using different research tools and analytical software. So we are looking forward to her contribution and in capacity building of our students and faculty members and researchers in terms of giving us very on-field experience of how to conduct research and how to analyze whatever data we have collected. So I welcome you, Amrita ma'am. Please go ahead with your series session.
Thank you, Dr. Savle. Thank you, Krishna. And thank you to the team for inviting me, first of all. And great to know that you all are aware and familiar with Azad Foundation. So, without much, you know, delay, I will start presenting my section. I am not being able to share my screen. It's
Go to the
not
arrow
letting
button.
me share my screen.
Go to the
No,
arrow
it's not
button.
letting me share my screen. It's saying cancel every
Okay,
time.
ma'am.
So
Let me just
yeah,
share my screen, and you can
sure,
like tell me when to change the slide. Is that
absolutely.
fine?
Thank you so much. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Hello. Hello.
सुरेश जाधव म्यूट करा स्वतःला. काही विचारायचं तुम्हाला?
ओके ओके आवाज
आवाज येतोय.
येत नाही. ओके ओके.
नाही, आता सुरू व्हायचंय त्यांचं. प्रेझेंट करतायत त्या.
Okay, ma'am. Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see the
Yes,
screen. Can
yes,
you move to the first,
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes,
to the
yes,
fourth
yes.
slide, please? And make it full. Is this full screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We cannot do it. Full screen is not possible, I think.
Oh, will you move to this fourth slide, please? The
Yeah,
fourth
yeah,
slide.
yeah. We had most of the presentations like this.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So I will begin. I have been asked to talk largely about the practice of social research, social practice. So, but I will begin with a little bit about what is qualitative research and how social science and social science research actually looks at qualitative research. So basically, the idea of social science in itself was that that they will develop like a scientific method to explain the social world. That is what the idea of social science was. Within it, they develop different kinds of scientific methods to say they will how do they produce a certain amount of meaning from what they see around them. What is how do they translate what they see commonly towards knowledge? That is the broad idea of social science and research. So within that, there were two ways that we came up with. We said that we went with a question and a very definite idea, that is deductive research. So we went with a definite hypothesis that this is what should happen, or maybe this is happening. And the other is where we went with an open mind to explore. Even when we went with an open mind to explore, there was a thought or a construct in people's minds. There was a thought or a question. There were different kinds of uh, queries that they had or things that they wanted to observe. So vis-a-vis deductive and inductive, there's always been. I'm just raising these four issues because deductive and inductive, objectivity and subjectivity, these are very core issues in research, and there is always a debate that is there. And in fact, in qualitative research, where you are actually observing other people and you're trying to draw meaning by reflecting on these observations from people, uh, this subjectivity, objectivity, this entire uh, opposition to a certain extent. I wouldn't call it an opposition, but it is always posited as an opposition. So वो जो subjectivity objectivity का एक construct है, deductive करें, inductive अच्छा है, deductive अच्छा है. You can't be subjective, you have to be objective. So there is no black and white in when you go down to doing research, and that is what qualitative में बहुत अच्छे से निकल के आया है, क्योंकि qualitative के जो constructs हैं, जो यहाँ पे constructs के basis पे मैं शुरू करना चाह रही हूँ आज, कि ये जब researchers जाने लगे, पहले तो वो गए, they went to other communities to study them. Then they started introspecting and studying themselves. When they started studying themselves, they realized that there is a meaning that is being produced by people, but there is also a meaning that the researcher is producing when they are representing the meaning that they are observing. So there's a huge amount of reflexivity in this process. There's a huge amount of observation. You have to constantly keep interpreting. क्या हम सही कर रहे हैं? क्या इसमें सही गलत की बात नहीं है. Are we interpreting the reality as it is being played out in front of us, or are we putting our own subjectivity there? Here, the big thing is that if we are aware of our subjectivity, because when we are talking about these constructs of phenomenology, ethnomethodology, they're all saying that they are trying to make sense of the world, or of the world as people are playing it out. Where I personally believe that, theory of practice actually brings this entire qualitative and quantitative, the subjectivity, objectivity debate together. But I will not go into theory of practice in detail because this is not a social science class. But having said that, theory of practice actually says that, there is an observer, there is a researcher with their own subjectivity, there is an observation that is happening, there are people who are playing out a reality, and that is happening in a time and space. That reality has a cultural background to it, has a construct to it. Researcher has a construct to themselves. They have a subjective construct. I have a disciplinary construct of social science. I also have a disciplinary construct of public health. Other people might have their own disciplinary constructs. I belong to a certain caste, to a certain religion. Those are my subjectivities. So how I interpret the world will be actually in between my subjectivity and how I observe, and how objectively I can actually keep my subjectivity in place. So it is very confusing apparently, but it is not. It is very simple, because जितना आप reflexive होगे अपनी reality को लेके और जो आप observe कर रहे हो, उतना आप clear होगे कि आप actually meaning क्या निकाल रहे हो। क्वालिटेटिव में ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि आप सिर्फ ऑब्जर्व नहीं करो, आप ऑब्जर्व करो, इंटरप्रेट करो और उसमें से मीनिंग निकालो। एंड आई विल कीप शोइंग through examples how at least my in the 10 years that I have had experiences, how I have been doing that, how various other researchers do it. Can we have the next slide, please? Thank you. So briefly about ethics, because I'm sure you have a full session on it. So I just wanted to touch base on क्या important चीजें हैं। एक तो मैंने आपको already बोल दिया है that subjective location of the researcher की ability to understand that। अगर हमने कहीं हमने बड़े बड़े researchers जैसे हैं जो M.N. श्रीनिवास हैं, जो social scientist हैं, और I mean he was a very well known ethnographer, उन्होंने जब अपने किताब में फॉरवर्ड देखेंगे आप उनका सोशल either it is about the Kurds, he has written that he belongs to a certain caste, he belongs to a certain social group, and how he interprets might be, or how he was perceived on the field might be impacted by his position and by his caste. That is what I mean by saying कि recognizing it. सिर्फ recognize करेंगे तो फिर हम उसको report भी करेंगे, and by reporting it we are automatically making it more scientific, to say that I have reflected on this process. So the reflexivity of the researcher and understanding that I have a power, obviously the power of the researcher is very very essential here, and that is the ethics of it कि मुझे पता है कि मेरे पास एक certain power है और मैं reality को differently interpret कर रहा हूँ, पर I will try and interpret it as close to people's reality as possible. So I will take different interpretations from people. इसीलिए this entire challenge in about the ethic versus the emic, I'm sure people know that the ethic and the emic in research, in qualitative, in social science research. So I'm just reiterating it थोड़ा सा, very simple. Ethic माने आप जो reality interpret कर रहे हो वो आप अपने perspective से interpret कर रहे हो. That is me being I have a certain amount, I have a certain disciplinary orientation. From my disciplinary orientation, from my location, that is, and I'm an urban female, I will go, if I go into the rural areas, I will interpret reality from my perspective as an urban person, educated female. Vis-a-vis that, emic actually says, I will try and interpret or observe the reality as it is. Try to speak to as many people to take as many perspectives of their reality, to represent the reality in their words, while keeping in mind that I am an urban person. So emic or etic का एक earlier when researchers used to go into the field, they used to have this very big idea that I am a theorist, I know everything to a large extent. And this happened because when, I don't know if you've heard of people like Malinowski, Radcliffe Brown, all of these people who used to go, they were studying other cultures. So they had this perspective that those cultures are different and I am the researcher. I have the power to assess them. But over time, when research became even more in our own societies, we started looking at our own societies and we started interpreting the realities. We started understanding realities from multiple perspectives. So structural functionalism versus interpretive culture, where we are talking about ethnomethodology and practice. उन्होंने बोला कि आपकी इंटरप्रिटेशन सिर्फ इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है, लोग भी आपको इंटरप्रेट कर रहे हैं, लोग भी अपनी रियलिटी को इंटरप्रेट कर रहे हैं. तो उनकी इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ रियलिटी अगर आप समझे, वो एक्चुअली इज द रियल इंटरप्रिटेशन टू अ लार्ज एक्सटेंट ऑफ रियलिटी. बट while doing that, you will observe that your structures will help you interpret that reality, or your understanding of research will help you interpret that. Then power of researchers position, location of participants and their access. So अगर हम जब बात कर रहे हैं किसी से भी, when we are talking to someone, और वो कहाँ पे located है within that social structure. I'll take an example and I'll tell you. So for example, there was this research that I was not part of the research, but I heard from one of the researchers that was happening in Sri Lanka. And it is very, Sri Lanka is similar to some extent, social structures are similar. वहाँ पे it was happening at a PRA level, village पे हो रहा था, and PRA जब हो रहा था तो वो social mapping करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे village में, and there was this 1 or 2 participants that the researcher saw was not participating or was not there actually. She was in the margins. And the researcher realized, so she said, why are they not participating? To which the entire village said, her husband has just died 2 days ago. She is not supposed to participate because she is not auspicious enough. This is an auspicious process, and we want to create something that is the truth. She will have, and anyway, she will not speak, so she will have no point. So who is being left out of the process? How, as a researcher, are you observing the social structure and seeing who is on the margin? Automatically, when she questioned, she asked the right question, she got that this person was at the margin from the perspective of the village. But from the perspective of the researcher, she can also give inputs to the process. Her input to the process might be very different from what the dominant input of, say, the males in the village or even the females in the village who have children, who have their husband might be. So how do we see who is being left out? Here I've given that example. A woman who is childless, is she being left out? A woman who has lost her husband, is she being left out of the dominant perspective? Also recognize that there are diversities. So every diversity has a different view. A view from the lower caste, a view from the upper caste, and these are things that are difficult for us to ask. Difficult questions to ask. You can't go in and ask these questions. Which caste do you belong to? Unless you've established trust. So that is very, very essential for ethics. How you establish that amount of trust, and I will go into that in the next slide. Also, when you are in the process, how are you actually taking consent? How conscious are you of your role there? Suppose, I'll tell you the example. I'll tell you why I'm saying. Because suppose a woman who has never been heard comes, hears you, and a lot of women do that with me. I mean, they come and say, "आप मेरे से बात करने आए हैं, मेरे साथ कोई बात नहीं करता, मेरी कोई नहीं सुनता." तो उसने अपनी कहानी बता दी. अब you are in an open space, usually in a research area. I mean, usually I'm talking about rural areas. I have done rural and urban research. Suppose rural area, and she's told me, and she's actually challenged all the structures. She said, no, my husband doesn't do this. Uh, my mother-in-law doesn't do this, because she's being heard. From that perspective, as a researcher, you've got a lot of data, and you come out of the field. Raat ko she gets beaten. Are you going to be there to save her? But is it not your responsibility to ensure that she doesn't get beaten? Because you have to be perceptive that when she's challenging that structure, she's challenging a lot of dominant hegemonic forces. You have to actually take her alone and see that people are not hearing. If you see that there are too many people, and usually in research you can't create situations. We say, what is the location of research? Location of research should be, you will see that in most social science research. Location of research should be a space where there is not too much noise, people are isolated. Usually in ideal spaces you will not. But there you have to observe. So there are those spaces that you have to create. Maybe when that woman goes to the field, she is alone because nobody follows her there. And these are my observations because I've been to them. And I have actually spent time with women who were working in their fields alone. In fact, there was this one woman who made us come for like 3 days just to observe whether we are consistent, and we will come and be with her. She talked about everything around the world, but never talked about our research question. But in the end, when she saw that, we were interested in her life, we were actually persistent, she did talk to us. But my point is, you have to observe. As a researcher, you have to constantly observe. You have to be thinking कि मेरे बाद इनका क्या हो. इसीलिए when you are also giving, it's very essential when you are talking about why this research, you should not give any false hopes. Usually research always does not lead to something that is going to change immediately. Over time it might change. So if you're intervening in the community today, maybe after 3 years, you're talking about, say, some new changes in structure of the community or of health structure, and after 3 years that structure can get built. So you have to be very, very clear when you tell people that this research, my location and my power is only up to this much, that I can inform. You are going to help me inform. After I've informed, people will take their course of time. It might happen, it might not happen immediately, no change, especially in areas like, when you're doing evaluation of a study, or when you're doing evaluation of health services, and health services are very poor in that area. I mean, largely in the northern part of India, if you go to the northern part of India, and there are poor health services, but there are so many programs that are there in that area. There's an immediate thing that the person will say, what will I get out of it? You have to be very careful to say that immediately you will not get out of anything possible. But if you talk to me, I will be able to talk and raise your concerns with the concerned authority. So being very clear कि अभी इमीडिएटली कुछ चेंज नहीं होगा, क्योंकि आप निकल जाओगे, दूसरा रिसर्चर वहां आएगा, उसको वो वही बोलेंगे कि तो 2 दिन पहले वो भी आई थी, उसने भी हमसे बात की, हमने तो टाइम, बिकॉज यू आर डीलिंग विद पीपल्स टाइम, हमने टाइम दिया, क्या हुआ? कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. सो फ्यूचर रिसर्चर्स विल फेस द ब्रंट ऑफ व्हाट यू हैव डन if you do not make things clear. Can we go to the next slide, please? So I just wanted to highlight that, when we talk about methods of data collection and we talk about qualitative data, there are a lot of people, and this is, I have heard researchers also say, कि बहुत unstructured है, anybody can gather it. क्या है, बात ही तो करनी है. All you have to do is and numerical and mixed method studies, which are big. I mean, big on the scene right now. Everybody wants to do a mixed method study. Qualitative bhi mil jayega, quantitative bhi mil jayega. So what is qualitative doing? Filling in the answers to all the numerical data. But no, you have. That is why the methodology of qualitative research, although it is very reflexive, although it seems unsystematic, it has to be, as much as you make it systematic, and there are processes through which we make it systematic, it will be, you'll be able to defend it, because with the qualitative data collection or methods of qualitative data collection, you have made a subjective, you've taken a subjective perspective to saying these methods I'm using. This method will actually lead to a good data for this question or this evaluation or this exploratory research. But another person with a different subjective orientation might come and challenge. That's true for all research, I know, but it is even more difficult in qualitative data collection. So as much as you are reflexive, as much as you've written down. So I just wanted to say, simple things, but I will just read out this very, very simple thing that, M.N. Srinivas wrote in Social Change in Modern India. See, he's being very obvious. I must make it, he's saying that, I must make it clear that mine is only a social anthropologist's view of social change in modern India. An economist, political scientist, educationist, lawyer, historian will certainly bring a different perspective, if not approach, to the analysis of change. So he is telling you he's creating that space that, yes, you can come and challenge me, but this is my positioning. He's making it very clear that this is my positioning, and this is how I've interpreted the data. So if you can move to the next slide, please. Yeah. So within that positioning, how do you actually create a methodology? How do you stay true to the methodology? What are the positives of qualitative research? And I have written the positives, and I have also written how and where they are used. Specifically, if you're going into programs, or how do you use research? Research doesn't happen in abstract only. Yes, research happens for the sake of research also. But when you are putting it into social practice, how do you put it into social practice? And that is why I have kept these two together. So, एक है flexibility. So what happens is, in a qualitative research, while we have a question, we call it a discussion guide, or discussion questions vis-a-vis a questionnaire. I wouldn't call it a questionnaire or an interview schedule, but a discussion guide, a guideline that guides your discussion. When you see in the field that your guidelines, to some extent, are not, so there is a scope to constantly keep modifying your guidelines, because your responses help you actually to sharpen your guidelines, to sharpen your questions. That, people would say, is true for quantitative research also, but you do it once with a pilot. So a pilot in a quantitative study becomes very crucial to sharpen your questionnaire. How many times will you keep? Because it's a more constant tool, a questionnaire. Vis-a-vis that, a guideline is a more what do you call it? It is a more conversational tool. So when you're having a conversation, you can move questions around. You can follow the narrative style of the person who is actually talking to you, and probe more in certain areas. So qualitative approach actually gives you the flexibility to explore more. It gives you, this can happen, iteration can happen in other research processes also, but more in qualitative, because you can keep going back to that interview person. You can keep going back and doing repeat. In fact, it is usually a recommended thing, especially for case studies, for ethnography, to go back to your respondent and repeatedly over time take the interview. One is the time factor, because you're taking a certain amount of time from the respondent. The other is the trust factor. In the first interview, your respondent will not talk about their reality because they don't know you. But in the second or the third, maybe they realize that this person can be trusted. So that is also important. How you build trust. I will also come to that process. It helps you do a triangulation across techniques. So if you heard something in an FGD, okay, and that is of say young women who are unmarried, and then in an FGD of older women who are married, you've heard something else. You can triangulate it through, say, a few case studies or in-depth interviews. So there's a process of triangulation of data. Similarly, you've heard in-depth interviews, and you cannot actually place where you cannot actually place the location of, do all women who are of a certain category speak like this, or is it because your interviewee was at that point emotionally challenged that she is giving you a certain data. So you can do an FGD of a homogeneous, say young women, certain age category, were as homogeneous as possible, who are unmarried, who have not faced any, who do not have the pressure of marriage right now, who are studying. So, as homogeneous as you make it, it's much easier to triangulate the data and get validity on it. I am aware that you've had a full session on critical analysis, but what I wanted to say is that I've been saying is, how aware are you of the intersections? How aware that there is a gender, there is a caste, and these all intersect with each other, and how these actually are reiterated in, say, for example, when we look at what language is being used, what language are you using in the research, or what language is being used by the dominant caste in an area? Is it something that reiterates a certain amount of hegemony? There are dialects in India, but there are some dialects which are not used. So if say a text for if a text for say local education in, say, Marathi language uses a certain language or a certain dialect and does not use other dialects, is it going to marginalize those with the different dialects? Is it going to marginalize those people from accessing it? Now that I'm speaking in English, I'm trying to speak in English and Hindi. I'm trying, but of course I don't know Marathi. But is it actually impacting? So I'm being extremely subjective. I am conscious of it. I'm trying every time to speak in Hindi and English because I'm critically thinking, are people being able to understand me? But that critical analysis is very essential. So for example, recently we are doing this study on, we've been working with young people, so young people and vocational training. And we all know that vocational training पे बहुत अभी जोर आ रहा है from the government कि हम vocational training करेंगे, so young people ज़्यादा access कर पाएंगे different kinds of livelihoods को. पर वो vocational training का जो course curriculum, क्या वो course curriculum ऐसा है कि वो सभी को accessible है, या वो किसी एक for example उस कोर्स करिकुलम में क्या ये बोला जा रहा है, और हमने थोड़ा सा असेसमेंट करके देखा है कि ये हो रहा है कि महिलाएं सिर्फ इन्हीं वोकेशंस को फॉलो करेंगी और बाकी वोकेशंस पुरुषों के लिए, क्या ये बोला जा रहा है? So how will you understand? You have one when you do a critical analysis of that curriculum. So qualitative approach can be and methodology is always about critically analyzing कि वो जो social structures हैं और वो social structures कैसे उभर के आते हैं, दिखते कैसे हैं, वो how do you maintain? Equity lens I've already talked about, whose perspective you are taking is very important. So you have to take multiple perspectives. Now, having said this, how is qualitative research actually used in social practice? In different ways it can be used. So when we are doing a program, say we are starting a program and we want to understand how to plan, how to set up, say, a health program, क्या वो accept होगा community में? क्या जो इंटरवेंशन आप जिसके थ्रू करवाना चाह रहे हो क्या वो एक्सेप्टेबल होगा? सपोज यू वांट टू डू सम इंटरवेंशन थ्रू द लोकल मिडवाइफ्स इन द कम्युनिटी, क्या वो इंटरवेंशन एक्चुअली एक्सेप्टेबल होगा? क्या वहां की जो धारणा है अबाउट द लोकल मिडवाइफ्स दैट दे बिलोंग टू अ सर्टेन कास्ट, दैट दे कांट कम एंड दैट दे कैन ओनली डू यू नो कुछ प्योरिटी एंड इम्प्योरिटी का एक फीलिंग हमेशा रहता है विद कास्ट, तो क्या वो अगर आप बोल रहे हो कि मिडवाइफ सारे हैं वो काम नहीं उनको ज्यादा काम नहीं मिल रहा है बिकॉज इंस्टीट्यूशनल डिलीवरी हो रही है, उनको हम बच्चों का खाना बनाने का काम, आई एम जस्ट सेइंग, एंड you do it without doing an exploratory research and you find that it has failed completely because nobody is sending their children to school. So an exploratory research or a formative research helps you understand the reality of the field before planning a program. Similarly, अगर एक हम descriptive research की बात कर रहे हैं तो वो क्या करता है, perspectives देता है अलग अलग actors, वो क्या सोच रहे हैं उस प्रोग्राम के बारे में. तो ये ऑनगोइंग प्रोग्राम में इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि प्रोग्राम एक्चुअली हेल्प कर रहा है या नहीं हेल्प कर रहा है. तो मॉनिटरिंग में डिस्क्रिप्टिव रिसर्च की तरह हम बात कर सकते हैं. सिमिलरली एक इवैल्यूएटिव फ्रेम से अगर हम जाएं तो हम, and I will take an example of an evaluation that we have recently done to showcase how evaluation to measure success of an initiative, how we use qualitative approach. Can we move to the next slide, please?
Just a second, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am, go ahead.
Thank you. Methods of, अगर हम methods क्या हैं, I'm not going to go into methods and the technical definition of methods क्योंकि वो आप पढ़ रहे हैं. What I'm trying to go into is किस method को आप कहाँ use करोगे, वो कैसे आप design करोगे. So there are these methods that are there, key informant interviewing, focus group discussion, in-depth interviews, case studies, and there are observations, ethnography, non-participant and participant. So for example, I have these few areas. So for example, first वाला लेते हैं, decision making of women. अगर आप देख रहे हो, decision making of women in an SHG to improve its function. What do you think will be the methods that you will definitely talk to these SHG members? Will you do in-depth interviews with them? Will you do focus group with them? If you're doing a focus group, You have to map कि वो SHG के members क्या अलग अलग कास्ट या क्लास ग्रुप से आते हैं. तो अगर आपका एक फोकस ग्रुप एक सर्टन कास्ट ग्रुप एंड अ सर्टन क्लास ग्रुप से होगा, दूसरा फोकस ग्रुप दूसरे कास्ट ग्रुप से होगा. बट when you're doing things like decision making, it is good not to do a focus group. It is better to do participatory observations. Because आप decision making देख रहे हो, आपको observe करना पड़ेगा कि वो क्या कर रहे हैं. Later, after you've done an observation, you can, top it up, or what do you call it? You can have a triangulation with in-depth interviews. Because often in decision making, strategies will not come out in focus group. It will not come. Why would I talk about why I made the decision? And sometimes I really don't know why I made that decision. But in an in-depth interview, my reality of my location and why I'm taking a certain decision might be a little more visible. And participatory observation will help that person understand how that decision is actually getting made. Who is the dominant person in the decision making? Who is the non-dominant person? What are the issues around, challenges around decision making? Similarly, when we are talking about another, say, option, livelihood practices of transgender, will you do a focus group discussion? Will you do observations? कहाँ observe करोगे? कितने दिन observe करोगे? वहाँ पे आप case studies. You will try and build rapport with a few members of that group and start doing case studies. That is how you will find out. And here, since it is a group which either you will do in-depth interviews or case studies, but case studies will give you a detailed mapping of their lives. In-depth interviews will be still a little bit restrictive, but a case study will actually give you a bigger picture of all the livelihood practices that are happening around that area and what kind of urban livelihood practices are they following. Similarly, understanding health-seeking behavior of women who have faced violence. You can't do focus groups. You can't. There is no key informant interviewing. You will again do in-depth interviews or case studies. Case studies might be difficult for these women because time is a time, health-seeking behavior, and they will not be able to give you that much detailing about and they are survivors. So maybe a case study might not be easy to do, but an in-depth interview will at a point in time give you details about what happened, about time they face violence, how their health-seeking behavior is impacted. Similarly, if you're talking about exploring mental health of young women and perception, you can do focus group discussions, but with only young women who have faced a problem or who have not faced a problem. So you will have to keep a very sharp edge of why you're doing the why. So you can do multiple data collection methods, but the question of why you're doing it and how effective you are is very important. We can move to the next slide.
Yeah, ma'am, go ahead.
When we are talking about sampling में भी एक there is a feeling कि क्योंकि हम non-probability sampling करते हैं, तो in qualitative research वो उतना scientific नहीं है, हम किसी को भी उठा के ले आ सकते, but that's not true. And how do you as a researcher establish that non-probability sampling is also actual sampling? You have to be very clear of whom you're including, and whom you're excluding and why. Be very, very clear, be very, very sharp about why are you using this methodology of sampling and what is your purpose, who are you excluding, who are you including. So purposive sampling usually is the sampling methodology that most people use unless they're going to a very difficult to reach group where they need to do snowball sampling. Snowball sampling is a sampling where you reach one respondent. So for example, पीछे वाला जो ऑप्शन था जहाँ पे हम वायलेंस सर्वाइवर्स की बात कर रहे थे या ट्रांसजेंडर की बात कर रहे थे, वहां पे आप स्नोबॉल सैम्पलिंग यूज करें. You will establish trust with one or two people and use their network to actually reach out to more people, to cover your sample. How will you know when your sampling is done? When you start getting the same data. So it is called something called data redundancy. These are all technical things, and जितना आप इन technicalities को use करोगे, उतना आप अपने sampling या अपने methodology को methodology के रूप में present करोगे, उतना detailed और tight होगा आपका methodology. There is something called data redundancy. Data redundancy is the point at which you are getting a similar data. So your sample is not revealing anything new to you. It is a subjective stance that you take, but you have to be very clear about it. You have to be very sharp about it. When we are doing purposive sampling, you have to be sharp about why you are deliberately selecting that certain sample, whom are you excluding out of it and why, whom are you including within it and why. So for mental health वाला हमने purposive sampling किया था mental health वाले study में, तो हमने बोला था कि all those people, all the young people, we will definitely keep in our sample who may or may not have a reported mental health problem. So we were actually going beyond the reported problems. हम ऐसा नहीं बोल रहे थे कि only those women, young women, and age group भी हमने define किया था. So there was an age group defined for this purposive sampling. We are not, what is young for us? Young can mean different things for different people. But what is your definition for your sample of young? Is it age? Is it a certain between these usually it will be age. It will not be education, because education in our in rural or urban areas, especially with if you're going to marginalized population, might differ. लोगों की education छूट जाती है, so it will be age. When you said age, okay, this is how I define young, 18 to 24. Within that, how did we define mental health? We said that we are not defining the scope of mental health to say only reported mental health problems, because we want to understand their everyday reality and how it causes them, impacts their mental health. Now, within everyday reality, what are we selecting as everyday reality? We did literature review for that. So we realized that, their everyday realities में what are the areas or what are the किनसे उनको तनाव हो सकता है, possible तनाव. So we said push for marriage. We said पढ़ाई. We talked about age and marriage, कि आप इतनी उम्र तक आपकी शादी नहीं हुई है, तो how does it matter? We talked about having boyfriends. These are the things that we went with to the field. Now that is the beauty of qualitative research. We went with this purposive sample, we went to the field, and we found 3 other points where, because we spoke with these girls. When we spoke with these girls, we realized other problems that are causing them tanav. So we included them in the purposive sampling. But when we wrote the methodology, we said that these were the things that we went with. These are the 2 more inclusion criteria we included after going into the field and actually understanding the field reality. So as much as you can be reflexive in the process, as much as you can think and put that thinking on paper, उतना शार्प आपका मेथोडोलॉजी होगा, उतने लेस आपको ये बोला जाएगा कि अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड. Structure in qualitative research is very possible, but it is a lot dependent not on the tools only, but on the researcher's reflexibility. On the researcher, वो कैसे अपने नोट्स लिखते हैं, वो कैसे अपने नोट्स को प्रोसेस करते हैं, वो बहुत जरूरी है. I have talked about homogeneous sampling, so I think we can move on to the next one. Yeah. So how to collect data में मैं एक personal example से, these are I will talk about discussion guides and I will give an example later on in the next slide, so I will not talk about that. Let me talk about building rapport, because वो बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है when you're collecting data. So when I was working with in urban areas with transgenders, they knew that I have a position as a researcher there, where I have come to observe them. They were very aware of my position. What were they doing initially? They were telling me, आज हम नहीं मिलेंगे, आज हमको हमारे घर में हमारे एरिया में प्रॉब्लम है, मत आओ. The next step was they came and told me, खाना खाओगे? So they were giving me another opportunity to build rapport, because food is a big way that you can build rapport. I know that we all have food practices, there is hygiene, there is impurity around food. But food is one of the biggest ways to actually build trust. Similarly, culture, dress, how you look, how different do you look from people? Usually, हम urban spaces से जाते हैं rural areas में. तो जब मैं rural areas में जाती हूँ, I am married, but I don't wear sindoor, and I have been told by a respondent. So it actually helped me get into that culture. I was working with A&Ms, auxiliary nurse midwives, and they told me कि आप ऐसे घूमोगे तो आपको कोई बात नहीं करेगा आपसे. They were that perceptive. कि शादी हो गई है ना, तो शादी होने के बाद आप सिंदूर नहीं लगाओगे. But did I look at, as a researcher, did I look at it as a perspective where I said, why are they asking me to do this? Why are they forcing norms around me? While I understand I'm sure you've had a session on feminist, reflexive research and all of that. I understand those perspectives. I have a position because I don't like wearing it, so I don't wear it. But I am going into a field where that is the norm. So I will, if I want to build rapport, follow the norm. It doesn't make me any different from them. It just makes me a better researcher. A person whom they will accept over time. Because I look, feel, I'm not saying you completely change yourself, but yes, look, feel, how you eat with people. So when the transgenders asked me, khaoge khana? I said, yes. I could have said, no, I don't want to eat, I have my food. I was tempted to say that because I don't know where they are eating, what they are doing, how they are cooking. But I went into their kitchen. I spoke with them. I saw that they are practicing hygiene also. They are saying that they themselves said, the fact that I did not say no, and I entered their kitchen, and I entered and ate with them, helped me enter their lives. I traveled with them. And I'm not saying that is the only thing that you should do as a researcher, but these are ways. Jitna empathy, jitna association, jitna affiliation aap dikhaoge, it will also help you as a researcher to reflect on why this is the norm. So as a researcher, I will reflect on why they wanted me to, like I'm reflecting with you. Perhaps they thought कि मैं मना कर दूं. Perhaps they thought that I will say, oh my God, they are very dirty. But I did not, because I overcame that barrier from my end also to understand. Let me go and see how they are cooking. Let me go and sit with them. Let me go and understand them. So you have to be very open. When you are doing data collection, you're on the field, you are understanding the field from their reality. They ask you for your caste, you tell them about it. I don't talk about it as an urban woman. But if they ask you, and that helps them place you on a certain social order, so be it. Give them that information. That will help them build trust. That will help them talk to you. I have already talked about the consent. I will talk about discussion guides in a later slide. I'm talking about getting everyone to speak, being empathetic. And for example, the respondent does break down multiple times. So she's talking about her violence, and you have a time frame. What will you do as a researcher? As human as you can be. You are a human being first and a researcher later. You will stop, ask her, and that will help you. That will go a long way. These are very basic things, and I don't know which text will tell you all this, but this is all from my learning, that you will stop immediately. You will see if you can give her a glass of water, talk to her about other things. Maybe she will have more trust in that process. Maybe she will next time ask you, I am not feeling well right now. Will you come a little later? I will talk to you. Maybe she will change the location for you and tell you that, this, or maybe she will talk to you in more detail about that experience because she will trust you beyond that. So these are simple things about collecting data, and very important, keep backup. So in a sample, you should always have 10% backup at least, because there can be multiple situations. We are all human beings. We are all in a human. This is not a test field. This is not an experiment. This is not a lab. We are all human beings. People can have deaths. People can have issues. People can have other problems in their lives at that period in time during your research. You may go back to them, but you will also have to have a time period in mind for a research. So always 10% additional sample backup is a non-negotiable. We've learned it the hard way every time we have not kept it. Can we move to the next slide, please?
She's trying.
We all are in the virtual world now. We know.
Yeah.
How difficult is it?
Yeah.
Because we are all hosting meetings. We are all trying our best. If it gets stuck, there is something that sometimes technology can be difficult also.
Yeah. Now it is on.
Thank you. So I would want, I would skip this right now, but want people to observe this, and we can discuss about the reflection when we are doing the questions. What is your reflection from what you have observed right now? We can keep it on for 2 minutes, and then we can go back when we are doing the questions to understand how observation and reflection are important in research. We can move on to the next one. Okay. I was talking about the type of question or how you ask questions, where I said vis-a-vis an interview or a questionnaire, an interview schedule and or a questionnaire, we will use discussion narratives. We will use open-ended discussions. So I have kept two variations. So either you ask questions which are very direct, like what were you, and this is from two versions of our internal interview guidelines that we had. Very initially, we used to ask like this, and this was the first draft that had come out. So everybody learns through experience. This is the first draft that had come out of an intern or somebody who had been asked to make a questionnaire. Which, what were you doing before joining this training? How did you come to know about this training? What did you want to know? What was the reaction? What, how, what? So, how do you think this will go? This person will give you two lines. Yes, I was there. No, I was there. Vis-a-vis the other way of asking a question. And I will, at the end of it, I have one clip that I wanted to just play for 2 minutes to show you how an interviewer can, facilitate and not facilitate. How discussions can be facilitative और क्या हम गलत कर सकते हैं. तो if you look at the other section, जहाँ पे मैंने अभी का हमारा जो इंटरव्यू गाइड है जो हम यूज करते हैं वो है, तो पहले तो आपने अपने आप को इंट्रोड्यूस किया, तो आपने अपना रैपो बोला कि मैं ये हूँ और मैं आपसे ये करने रिसर्च के माध्यम से बात करने को आई हूँ. आप अपना कंसेंट फॉर्म दिखाते हो, उसमें आप पढ़ के सुनाते हो. देन यू से नाउ, अब मैंने आपके अपने बारे में बोला, अब आप अपने बारे में बताइए. वो अगर बता देते हैं तो आप प्रोब नहीं करोगे. नेम, एज, एजुकेशन, मैरिड, अनमैरिड, वो कास्ट नहीं बताना चाहते, ना बताएं, बाद में प्रोब करें. चिल्ड्रन क्या करते हैं उनको बात करने पहले आप अपने बारे में बताइए. बहुत सारे लोग अपने बारे में शायद थोड़ा सा बता के रुक जाते हैं, पर कुछ तो बताएंगे, ना कि आप ऐसे पूछें कि क्या किया आपने, कैसे गए आप, क्यों किया आपने. तो लोग बोलेंगे हाँ अच्छा ठीक है. You can do this actually. I think it will be great if we could have done this, but right now I don't know about the time and all that, but if you could do this like a session, one person asks these questions to another person in this format, and अगर हम दूसरे वाले को भी use करके देखें कि कैसे responses आते हैं, the responses will be very different. The person will be allowed to talk, so you have to allow that person to share their narrative. So little questions, more probes. अगर उसने बोला नहीं तो आप probe करें, लेकिन पहले उनको बोलने दीजिए. आधी से ज्यादा चीजें तो आपकी क्वेश्चन पैटर्न में कवर कर देंगे, but you have to ask certain questions, तो आप उनको probes में रख लीजिए. अगर वो आंसर्स आपको मिले नहीं तो आप प्रोब करके बाद में पूछ लीजिए. लेकिन अगर आप डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चनिंग पे जाएंगे तो ऑफन आपको उतना लेयर, उतना डिटेलिंग नहीं आएगा. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. दूसरा जो है कि हम ह्यूमन बिहेवियर की बात कर रहे हैं, तो जब हम ह्यूमन बिहेवियर की बात करते हैं, काफी टाइम आप अगर पूछेंगे आपने क्यों डिसीजन लिया, आपने क्यों क्या किया, वो नहीं बता पाएंगे, क्योंकि वो अपने उस डिसीजन को जस्टिफाई शायद उस टाइम फ्रेम में लिया था, शायद टाइम वैसा था, शायद चीजें वैसी थी, शायद. तो आप जितनी भी डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चनिंग करेंगे वो आपको मिलेगा नहीं. इसीलिए हम रिसर्च में क्वालिटेटिव में प्रोजेक्टिव टेक्निक्स का यूज करते हैं. ये प्रोजेक्टिव टेक्निक्स क्या होती हैं? वो टेक्निक्स होती हैं, एंड दिस कैन बी एन एंटायर सेशन एक्चुअली, जहां आप परसेप्शन को मापते हो, उस माइंडसेट को क्रिएट करते हो. तो आप कैसे करते हो? एक थर्ड पर्सन का नैरेटिव. अब आपको कैसे पता होगा कि कौन से थर्ड पर्सन का नैरेटिव आप दोगे? आप projective techniques usually we use it maybe after one FGT has happened and you know कि क्या क्या हो रहा है, उसके बाद आप प्रोजेक्टिव टेक्निक्स को इन डेप्थ इंटरव्यू में यूज कर सोचो। तो आपने एक थर्ड पर्सन का नैरेटिव बना दिया से मैं फॉर एग्जांपल महिला और उसके स्वास्थ्य को लेके या विमेन एंड चाइल्ड बर्थ को सोचो कि आप कैसे डिसीजन मेकिंग करते हो। वो डायरेक्टली नहीं पूछ के क्या आप कॉन्ट्रासेप्टिव्स यूज करते हो या हु टेक्स द डिसीजन अराउंड चाइल्ड बर्थ, वो आप डायरेक्टली पूछोगे तो वो आपको मिलेगा नहीं। बिकॉज ऑल्सो समटाइम्स देर इज वन इज झिझक, द अदर इज कि आपको पता ही नहीं होता है शायद, हाँ दोनों लेते हैं करते हैं शायद पता नहीं, लेकिन एक थर्ड पर्सन का नैरेटिव आप दोगे कि दिस इज दिस पर्सन और उसको एज क्लोज टू देयर रियलिटी बनाओगे कि वो किसी रूरल एरिया में रहती है, आपके घर के पास रहती है, आपकी सहेली टाइप की होगी। चलिए उसने ये डिसीजन लिया अपने स्वास्थ्य के बारे में, उसके डॉक्टर ने बोला था कि उसके 3 बच्चे हो गए हैं, डॉक्टर ने बोला कॉन्ट्रासेप्शन यूज करने को, समथिंग लाइक दैट। आपको क्या लगता है कि वो आपके पास आई है, अब आपको क्या लगता है कि वो आप उसको क्या बोलोगे? शी विल गिव हर पर्सपेक्टिव, शी विल गिव हर नैरेटिव, शी विल ऑल्सो टेल यू कि ऐसी लड़कियों को क्या बोला जाता है या ऐसे क्या उसकी धारणा है। हाउ डू यू क्रिएट दैट इज वन। द अदर इज एंड आई पर्सनली यूज दिस अ लॉट इज टू क्रिएट एन आइडियल टाइप। आइडियल टाइप मतलब जैसे आइडियल टाइप की माँ होती है, आइडियल टाइप के एंड आइडियल टाइप की माँ अर्बन, रूरल, महाराष्ट्र, उत्तर प्रदेश, हर जगह पे अलग होंगी, हर जगह पे अलग होंगी। तो अगर आप कॉन्स्ट्रक्ट आइडियल टाइप का बना सकते हो तो वो उस एरिया के टाइपोलॉजी को दिखाए, वहां के हायरार्कीज को दिखाए, वहां के परसेप्शंस को दिखाए। और आई विल शो यू हाउ वी हैड डन इट इन दिस इन द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। एग्जाम्पल के द्वारा मैं दिखाऊंगी, एक हमने उसको कैसे इवैल्यूएशन के तौर पे यूज किया। द अदर इज सिमिलर, आइडियल टाइप के बेसिस पे आप टाइपोलॉजीज क्रिएट करें। देयर आर डिफरेंट टाइपोलॉजीज यू विल गेट। कुछ लोग से सपोज देयर आर डिफरेंट टाइपोलॉजीज ऑफ वर्किंग वुमेन। देयर आर सम वर्किंग वुमेन जो घर में कोई काम नहीं करती हैं, जो हमेशा ट्रैवल करती हैं, जो बच्चे को नहीं देखती हैं। देयर आर सम वर्किंग, सो यू नो देयर आर टाइपोलॉजीज दैट यू कैन क्रिएट एंड व्हेन यू क्रिएट दैट टाइपोलॉजी आपको क्या पता चलेगा कि कितनी वैरायटीज उस एरिया में दिखने को मिलेंगी और उनके प्रति क्या परसेप्शन है, लोगों का क्या परसेप्शन है, लोगों की क्या हायरार्की है। तो यू विल गेट ए डिफरेंट वेरिएशंस ऑफ पीपल, different behaviors of people and how other people or the dominant norm towards that behavior. So suppose that will help you not just in terms of social practice, I would say that would help you decide a behavior change का एक पूरा आप curriculum decide कर सकते हो इसके basis। So these are some of the techniques that I use. I will give an example of the ideal type color technique as we had used it recently. So can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So हमको अपने प्रोग्राम में हम किशोरियों के साथ काम कर रहे थे, तो हमको ये अपने प्रोग्राम में ये देखना था कि जो किशोरियां आई उस प्रोग्राम में और जो आके उसके बाद उन्होंने इस प्रोग्राम को ज्वाइन करने के बाद उनमें कुछ चेंज आया, अगर चेंज आया तो क्या आया, और वो प्रोग्राम को कैसे देखती, प्रोग्राम के प्रति उनका क्या व्यू है कि प्रोग्राम कैसा कर रहा है, जैसे भी कॉन्स्ट्रक्ट बनाया हुआ है, प्रोग्राम के क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव हैं, क्या वो ऑब्जेक्टिव को समझती हैं, क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव को समझते हुए वो उसको एक्सेप्ट करती हैं। बहुत जरूरी है ये दोनों के बीच का एसोसिएशन। तो हमने आइडियल टाइप को यूज किया। हमने क्या किया, हमने बोला कि चलिए एक लड़की, और इसीलिए आप देखोगे जो जिस लड़की को बीच में रखा है हमने, उसको आप ना एज के हिसाब से प्लेस कर सकते, ऑफ कोर्स एज के हिसाब से थोड़ा प्लेस कर सकते हो, बट you don't know, you can't place her in terms of caste, or you can't place her in terms of so when you are taking an example of an ideal type, or if you want to create a construct, keep something neutral in mind. अगर आपको कुछ इमेज दिखाना हो, अगर यही इमेज आप एक लड़की का स्कूल जाते हुए दिखा दो, तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली लोग उसको स्कूल जाते हुए लड़की की तरह देखने लगेंगे। तो हाउ यू यूज इमेज, how you observe and create we tried to create as neutral an image here. इतना न्यूट्रल, जब आप आइडियल टाइप, जब आप कोई टाइपोलॉजी क्रिएट कर रहे हो और आपको कोई इमेज दिखानी है उसके बीच में, अगर आप उस इमेज को न्यूट्रल नहीं रखोगे तो आपकी टाइपोलॉजी और आइडियल टाइप उस इमेज से इंपैक्टेड हो जाएगी। तो हमने कोशिश की कि जितना न्यूट्रल हम इमेज को रखें, और हम पूछते गए, चलो आप बताओ कि एक लड़की थी, चलो आपकी फ्रेंड है और वो इस प्रोग्राम में आई थी, तो 4 साल बाद आप उससे मिले, आपको उसकी कुछ कुछ चीजें आप बतानी पड़ेगी, उसकी डिसीजन मेकिंग के बारे में, वो पढ़ाई का क्या कर रही है, क्या वो नौकरी करेगी क्या, एंड वी यूज्ड ऑल द एरियाज दैट आर द प्रोग्राम आउटकम्स, जो वो प्रोग्राम करना चाह रही थी, उन आउटकम्स को लेते हुए हमने सारे ये क्वेश्चंस बहुत ओपन एंडेड रखा, जिससे हमने ये आइडियल टाइप क्रिएट। आइडियल टाइप बनने के बाद हमने ये जानना चाहा कि बाकी सारे प्रोग्राम एरिया लोग उस आइडियल टाइप को कितना, उस आइडियल टाइप से अपने आप को कितनी दूरी पे रखते हैं, या अपने आप को कहाँ देख पाते हैं, ठीक है ना। तो हमने ये वाला ये यूज किया कि let us make like a solar system. So how you use technology techniques, ठीक है ना। सोलर सिस्टम बनाते हैं जहां पे सन becomes this ideal. अब आप बताइए आप कितनी दूरी पे हैं और क्यों है। वेरी सिंपली, अब लोगों को ये भी नहीं लगेगा कि आप उनको मेजर कर रहे हो। क्यों, आप उनको डायरेक्टली तो नहीं पूछ रहे हो ना कि आपको क्या लगता है प्रोग्राम से आपने क्या सीखा, नहीं पूछा। आप उनको पूछ रहे हो ये लड़की है, ये प्रोग्राम में आई थी, इसने सीखा, और आप अपने आप को इस लड़की से कितनी दूरी पे रखते हो, क्यों। और इतने डिटेल्ड आंसर्स आए हमें कि हमारे को there were we did it with 28 girls. There were 7 girls who were in the outer circle, 3 in the inner circle, few in the एकदम inner circle. I mean, why? Because you know उनको प्रेशर नहीं, जितना आप कम प्रेशर अपने रेस्पोंडेंट्स पे डालोगे, थैंक यू, जितना आप कम प्रेशर अपने रेस्पोंडेंट्स पे डालोगे टू रेस्पॉन्ड इन अ सर्टेन मैनर, जितना आप टूल्स का इस्तेमाल करोगे, दैट इज व्हाई इट इज अ साइंस, इट इज स्ट्रक्चर्ड, इट इज बट इट इज रिफ्लेक्सिव। द ब्यूटी ऑफ क्वालिटेटिव रिसर्च इज that it is very reflexive, but it has tools as well, and those tools are not unstructured, but the structuring and unstructuring of those tools is very very dependent on कौन यूज कर रहा है। तो इस प्रोग्राम को मेथडोलॉजी में हमने एग्जैक्टली लिखा कि क्या क्या हमने इस टूल से हासिल करना चाहा, किस टूल का क्या उद्देश्य था, किस टूल से हमने क्या मिला, और हमने जब रिस्पॉन्स दिया है इस प्रोग्राम का, जब, इसलिए मैं एनालिसिस पे आ रही हूँ अभी। कैन वी मूव टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। तो हम इस डेटा को, सपोज आई एम जस्ट टेकिंग दिस डेटा एंड I could share the analysis का framework of this data only. मैं अपना स्क्रीन शेयर करना चाह रही थी, बट वो नहीं हो पाएगा अभी, तो मैं बाद में कर दूंगी। लेकिन मैं जो समझाने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ विद एनालिसिस ऑफ डेटा, जो इज दैट डेटा हमेशा एक स्ट्रक्चर दिखाता है, जबकि हम बोलते हैं ग्राउंडेड थ्योरी, ग्राउंडेड थ्योरी में हम ये बोलने की कोशिश करते हैं कि आपका जो भी डेटा आता है, लार्जली हम एनालिसिस क्वालिटेटिव पे ग्राउंडेड थ्योरी का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, कि आपका जो भी डेटा आता है वो जो बोलता है आप उसी को लेके चलो। पर आपका डेटा बहुत स्ट्रक्चर्ड है, लेकिन आपको वो स्ट्रक्चर डेटा में लाना पड़ेगा। आप किस तरह से एनालिसिस करोगे उस पर डिपेंड करता है। एंड आई नो एनालिसिस के टेक्निक्स टूल्स होते हैं, इन विवो है, इन विवो आई थिंक नोबडी यूजेस, एटलस टाई है, पर एटलस टाई विल नॉट स्ट्रक्चर द डेटा, इट विल फॉलो द स्ट्रक्चर यू वांट इट। तो एनालिसिस तो आपको करना पड़ेगा, दिमाग तो आपको लगाना पड़ेगा। कैसे दिमाग लगाओगे? यहाँ पे मैं सोचती हूँ कि जो द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ बाइनरीज दैट this is one of my, I'm telling you on the face of it that I like the concept that Levi-Strauss had talked about kinship, where he said कि हर चीज का एक बाइनरी होता है, ऑपोजिशन होता है, where I don't know whether you've learnt it, but मैं बता रही हूँ in short कि उन्होंने बोला था कि हमारे माइंड में स्ट्रक्चर्स बने हुए हैं, और स्ट्रक्चर्स ऐसे बने हुए हैं कि वो बहुत सिंपल स्ट्रक्चर्स हैं। किनसे हम शादी कर सकते हैं, किनसे हम शादी नहीं कर सकते हैं, किनशिप के स्ट्रक्चर्स हैं। किस कौन सी चीज हम वही से कौन से एंड ही टॉक्स अबाउट मिथ एंड लैंग्वेज। सो कौन सी चीजें आप सेक्रेट रखते हैं, कौन सी चीजें आपको सेक्रेट नहीं रखनी है। तो ये जो बाइनरीज हैं ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती हैं जब आप डेटा को एनालाइज करने के लिए उसको एक स्ट्रक्चर में डालते हो। बट कैसे यूज करोगे आप बाइनरीज? तो वी नो दैट दिस एंटायर ग्रुप, जितना भी आपने डेटा कलेक्ट किया, उनका कुछ डेमोग्राफिक में आप सबसे पहले देखो कि क्या, सपोज मैरिड, अनमैरिड, डिवोर्स, सेपरेट, वो डेमोग्राफिक की बात कर रहे हैं। क्या मैरिड महिलाएं क्या बोल रही हैं, अनमैरिड महिलाएं क्या बोल रही हैं, क्या वो सेम चीज बोल रही हैं? क्या मैरिड महिलाएं विद चाइल्ड, मैरिड महिलाएं विदाउट चाइल्ड सेम चीजें बोल रही हैं? या क्या मैरिड के अंदर मैरिड विद चाइल्ड को ले सकते हैं एज अ सब स्ट्रक्चर? क्या डिवोर्स्ड महिलाएं अलग कुछ बोल रही हैं? तो वो स्ट्रक्चर्स आपको कैसे पता चलेंगे? जितना आप डेटा को पढ़ोगे, जितना आप डेटा को सॉर्ट करोगे, जितना आप डेटा को सॉर्ट कैसे करोगे? विद देयर डेमोग्राफिक डिटेल्स उन्होंने क्या बोला, डेमोग्राफिक डिटेल्स उन्होंने क्या बोला, मल्टीपल टाइप से सॉर्ट करना पड़ेगा। And that is where these sorting techniques come. I mean, the Atlas tie comes in, जहां पे आपको हेल्प करता है कि थीम बनते हैं, थीम के नीचे कुछ और थीम बनते, कोड्स बनते हैं, कुछ कोड्स एक थीम के नीचे बनते हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैरिड में सपोज महिलाएं ऐसी हैं जो मैरिड हैं, जिनकी जल्दी शादी, मैरिड हैं लेकिन जिनकी शादी लेट से हुई, तो शायद वो कुछ चीजें सिमिलर बोल रहे हैं, कुछ चीजें थोड़े से अलग बोल रहे हैं, तो मैरिड के सब कोड के अंदर वो डाल सकते हैं। सो देयर आर वेज टू अरेंज, इट्स लाइक अरेंजिंग, वेरी सिंपली अरेंजिंग क्लोथ्स इन अ क्लोजेट। तो आप जैसे जितना स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे में उसको सोचोगे, जितना आपका स्ट्रक्चर कौन देगा? आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव, आपको अचीव क्या करना है, आपको आंसर क्या करना है, आपको आंसर क्या करना है, आपको आंसर किसके पर्सपेक्टिव से करना है? इंक्लूसिव। जितना इंक्लूसिव आप आंसर दे सकते हैं, दैट मीन्स जो भी आपके स्ट्रक्चर में आए हैं, जो भी कास्ट ग्रुप, जो भी क्लास ग्रुप, जो भी जेंडर, उन सबको आप पहले रीड करोगे एंड देन यू विल पुट देम इन अ स्ट्रक्चर टू से कितने दूरी पे हैं वो और कितने पास हैं। वेरी सिंपल। हाउ far away are they from each other in terms of what they are saying? How close are they from each other? Because we are not creating generalizations in data. We are trying to interpret the data to say कि actually data में क्या क्या variations है। कुछ generalizations उसमें से निकल के आती हैं, definitely। हम बोलते हैं, हम जब अपना रिपोर्ट लिखते हैं तब बोलते हैं कि most women said this। अब वो most कब आता है? जब हमने देखा है कि मैरिड, अनमैरिड, डिवोर्स, उन्होंने एक चीज पे अग्री किया है। तो हम बोलते हैं कि मोस्ट. एंड इफ यू हैव अ ह्यूज डेटा सेट, से क्वालिटेटिव का डेटा सेट में अगर इफ यू टेकन 80-70 पीपल, और तब आप उसमें से बता सकते हो कि हाँ ठीक है 80% ऑफ देम ने इस पॉइंट पे अग्री किया है. सो यू से majority have said. And that also I think I will, if you can take me to the next slide, please, Krishna.
Can you see it, ma'am?
हाँ, I think I've covered this. Next one. हाँ. So when I was saying कि आप कैसे quantitatively qualitative data को present कर सकते हो, ये हमारा एक data है जिसमें हमने quantitatively उसको present किया है. क्या दिखाने की कोशिश कर रहे थे हम कि empowerment of women कितना हुआ है इन एरियाज में. So जो महिलाएं हेजिटेंट थी, पहले बात नहीं कर पाती थी, आज वो बात कर पा रही हैं. जो महिलाएं, कुछ महिलाएं ऐसी है उसमें से जो दे हैव स्पोकन आउट अगेंस्ट वायलेंस, कुछ ने अपनी मोबिलिटी इंक्रीज की है, अपने राइट्स की तरफ आगे बढ़ाया है. और उसमें भी हम देखना चाह रहे थे कि ये 1-2-1-2 हो गया है, पर ये इसमें हम देखना चाह रहे थे कि कितनी महिलाएं एक्चुअली सोच रही हैं या एटीट्यूड में उनका चेंज हुआ है, और कितनी महिलाओं ने उस पर एक्शन लिया है. सो एक्शन और एटीट्यूड के चेंज को हम यहाँ पे मैप करना चाह रहे थे. और हमने सोचा कि मे बी इट विल बी इजियर फॉर पीपल टू सी इट विजुअली. तो हमने, हालांकि डेटा सेट बहुत बड़ा नहीं है, इट्स अबाउट 28-30 का डेटा सेट, उसको विजुअली मैप किया है, टैबुलेट कर. सो दिस इज ऑल्सो अनदर वे ऑफ प्रेजेंटिंग. जस्ट बिकॉज इट इज क्वालिटेटिव, ऐसा नहीं है कि हमें हमेशा उसको लिख के प्रेजेंट करना पड़ेगा या कोट्स के द्वारा प्रेजेंट करना पड़ेगा. वी कैन ऑल्सो टैबुलेट अ क्वालिटेटिव डेटा. इट्स अबाउट हाउ यू आर विजुअलाइजिंग द डेटा, एंड दैट कम्स आफ्टर यू हैव अंडरस्टूड कि आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव को आप ऑब्जेक्टिव की तरफ कैसे मूव कर रहे हो, डेटा आपको क्या दिखाना है. तो कैन वी गो टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. This is also one of the ways of presenting quotes. So this is I have taken the liberty because it's my paper, so of copy pasting from here. Qualitative को आपको जब present करना है, you have to qualify आप किसका present कर. So when I'm presenting this quotation, I have qualified the person. See, it is a transgender person, and they have this guru-chela relationship. So it's a guru. Age, and I have said current non-consumer because I'm talking about their consumption of alcohol and tobacco. So how that showcases कि आप कितना structured way में आपने data भी collect किया है, कितने clear हो आप आपके finding को लेकर. तो finding में हम इसमें क्या बोलने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जब हम, this was a study, I'll tell you, this was a study basically on their health and health seeking behavior of transgender people in Mumbai. And वहाँ हम कोशिश कर रहे थे जानने की health seeking behavior में उनका propensity towards consumption of alcohol and tobacco. और हमारा big finding was that ये उनके पास, even though they have knowledge कि tobacco, alcohol उनके स्वास्थ्य के लिए हानिकारक है, but these substances they use. Why do they use? Because उनके लिए उनकी जिंदगी इतनी difficult है कि उनको लगता है कि कभी-कभी tobacco and alcohol और tobacco और alcohol से उनकी जिंदगी थोड़ी manageable हो जाती है. उनको एक एहसास होता है कि थोड़ा टेंशन फ्री हो जाता है. तो and it is a big finding कि आप यहाँ पे इस फाइंडिंग के बेसिस पे अगर आप एक प्रोग्राम करो और उनको जाके बताते रहो कि हाँ जी अल्कोहल मत लीजिए, बिहेवियर चेंज कर रहे हैं, हाँ प्रोग्राम लॉन्च कर रहे हैं, मत लीजिए अल्कोहल, मत लीजिए टोबैको, मत लीजिए, आप एक साल बाद भी बिहेवियर चेंज नहीं देख पाओगे बहुत ज्यादा. पर यहाँ पे बिहेवियर चेंज कैसे आया है, ये करंट नॉन कंज्यूमर है। क्यों आया है? क्योंकि दैट पर्सन हैज फेस्ड अनदर हेल्थ इशू एंड दैट पर्सन हैज चेंज्ड फॉर देयर कंजम्पशन। लेकिन वो आप जितना भी बिहेवियर चेंज करोगे, क्या इंटरवेंशन करते रहोगे, अगर आपको ये रियलिटी पता है तो आप एक्चुअली वहां पे जाके यू हैव टू बेसिकली ट्वीक योर इंफॉर्मेशन, और जो भी आपका प्रोग्राम होगा इस रियलिटी को मद्देनजर रखते हुए। तो ये रियलिटी हमें हेल्प करेगा हमारे किसी भी प्रोग्राम को, किसी भी उनकी तरफ अगर हम कोई स्कीम लॉन्च कर रहे हैं टोबैको कंजम्पशन की प्रिवेंशन का, knowing this fact we will be able to tweak the way we are approaching. We can go to the next one. These are the last two slides which I wanted to show about how you're presenting data. So जो वो young people के साथ जो हम research कर रहे थे, जहाँ पे हमने ideal type use किया था, वहाँ हमने ये data को ऐसे present किया था। ये ideal type का creation किया था, उसके बाद variations दिखाए थे data में। हमें मिला था 3 वेरिएशंस उसमें से, कि जहाँ पे लड़कियों के फैमिली सपोर्टिव हैं, जहाँ लड़कियों ने फैमिलीज में वायलेंस विटनेस किया है, और जहाँ लड़कियों की फैमिली एक्चुअली बहुत ज्यादा सपोर्टिव। और वहां इनके डिफरेंसेस क्या है, सेल्फ एस्टीम में, सेल्फ एफिकेसी में और सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस में। और इसमें वेरिएशन दिखा था हमें डेटा का। तो हमने पहले तो लार्ज डेटा में आइडियल टाइप कैसे प्रेजेंट किया, ये एक विजुअलाइजेशन है। फिर हमने उसको लेयर कैसे किया उस डेटा, उसके डिफरेंसेस, उसके शार्प पॉइंट्स कैसे निकाले, उनका प्रेजेंटेशन ऐसे। नीचे आप नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। This is another way of presenting data, where this was a study that was not done by me, but this was a study done by someone else. वो कोशिश कर रहे थे कि सारे एक विलेज की स्टडी है ये, और इस विलेज में वेल्थ एंड वेलबींग की रैंकिंग करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे पूरे विलेज में। एंडलेस है उनका परसेप्शन, जो टू शो तो डेटा को विजुअलाइज करने के बहुत सारे मीडियम हो सकते हैं। नंबर भी हो सकता है, परसेंटेज के हिसाब से कोड भी हो सकते हैं, पर जितना शार्प होगा और जितना आप क्लियर उस डेटा को प्रेजेंट करोगे, आप बोलना क्या चाह रहे हैं, या आप उसको एक पिक्चर के थ्रू द्वारा विजुअलाइज कर सकते हो। So these are the ways that I thought, some of the different ways of visualizing data. That will be my the last slide. Can we go to the last slide, please?
Last slide is on.
Last slide is about Azad, so I just wanted to keep.
No, it is on.
You know,
can see.
हम क्या करते हैं, थोड़ा सा बस. But since you all know about Azad, I can leave this slide with you. So this is about us, कि हम क्या काम करते हैं. We train young women and we train them in non-traditional livelihoods. आपको पता ही है, you're aware. But to do that, we also work with men, because we believe कि एक supportive structure उनकी community में होना बहुत जरूरी है. So we work with men. We help women access documents in their communities so that they can come to training. We work with young people, young girls, and training them so that they can access more educational opportunities, non-traditional livelihoods के training opportunities. And these are our there's our Facebook, our Twitter, and our website. So, and this is a YouTube link that I had sent. This is one of the recent एक हमारा एक वन बेटर वर्ल्ड ने हमारे ड्राइवर्स का एक वीडियो किया था, वो है. तो आप अगर बाद में देखना चाहें उसके लिए. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Amrita Gupta. for your presentation. It was very wonderful to know how to do research on the field. It is a, a process of how to use theories and methodologies on ground level, and you provided many guidelines, many practical guidelines to do so. So the session is open for question answers.
Yes.
Please, you can ask questions. Students. मराठीतनं प्रश्न विचारले तरी चालतील ना, आपण त्यांना विचारू. मराठीतनं प्रश्न विचारले तर आपण त्यांना हिंदीतून विचारू, किंवा तुम्ही हिंदीतून विचारले तरी चालतील. भरत सोनवणे अनम्यूट करणं. भरत सोनवणे.
हाँ नमस्कार सर.
हाँ नमस्ते.
हाँ पहले तो मैं मैडम को धन्यवाद दे रहा हूँ कि मैडम आप दिल्ली से है, यूनियन टेरिटरी से, और मैं भी दादरा नगर हवेली यूनियन टेरिटरी से बोल रहा हूँ. और मतलब आपने जो प्रेजेंटेशन किया उसमें तो सवाल पूछने को मुझे नहीं लगता कि उसमें कुछ रह गया है ऐसा. तो भी एक चीज मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी, वो मतलब स्लाइड में हम इमोजी भी मतलब प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं. मतलब वो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि उससे मतलब थोड़ा अलग ढंग से रिसर्च दिखता है. वैसे तो सब कुछ अच्छा ही था. ओके मैडम.
आप अमृता मैडम, आप रिसर्चर भी है, एक्टिविस्ट भी है, सोशियोलॉजिस्ट भी है, प्रैक्टिशनर भी है. तो कभी ऐसा डायलेमा आया है फील्ड में कि रिसर्च इथिक्स के बारे में इंटरवेंशन करना है या नहीं करना है? अगर इंटरवेंशन किया तो क्या हम किसी एक तरफा हो जाएंगे? और उसका होना ये भी आम बात है, क्योंकि हमारे सोशल रिसर्च में हम बाजू ले सकते हैं, क्योंकि क्रिटिकल थियरी और कई पर्सपेक्टिव से हम बाजू लेना चाहते हैं, उसमें कोई गैर नहीं है. लेकिन जब हम उसके इम्प्लीकेशंस फेस करते हैं साइड लेने के बाद, किसी एक तरफा जाने के बाद, तो अगर वो इम्प्लीकेशंस निगेटिव आते हैं, रिसर्च पे अफेक्ट करते हैं, तो हम क्या करें? प्लीज.
वैसे आई वुड से कि मैंने एक्सपीरियंस तो नहीं किया है सच ऐसा कुछ, बट ये मैं बोल सकती हूँ कि दैट इज वाई, अगर मैंने जब बोला था कि वो फॉर्मेटिव रिसर्च की कितनी जरूरत होती है, टू वर्ड्स एक्सप्लेनिंग की रिसर्च आप मतलब आप कहाँ जाओगे और किसके साथ बात करोगे और कैसे आप अपने प्रोग्राम को लॉन्च करोगे. Having said that, let me draw from two experiences. First experience was when was my first experience in UP, जहाँ मैं एक ग्राउंड रिसर्च में थी. I mean, we did the formative research, फिर हमने एक वहाँ पे it was more of a clinical trial kind of a thing. तो होता है जो केस कंट्रोल बनाया था, तो एक और उसके पहले फॉर्मेटिव रिसर्च किया था और ऑनगोइंग में क्वालिटेटिव रिसर्च भी किया था. तो टू कीप ऑल द एस्पेक्ट्स इन माइंड, क्योंकि एक बिहेवियर चेंज करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे. बिहेवियर चेंज ये था कि हाउ डू वी इंश्योर कि वहां पे बच्चे बहुत अर्ली बर्थ वेट में दे वर डाई. So how do we have an intervention of clinical research where we say कि हम एक behavior change mechanism लॉन्च करते हैं, जिससे कि हम महिलाओं के साथ इंटरवीन करेंगे और उनके बिहेवियर को चेंज करेंगे. उनके बिहेवियर को एक कंट्रोल ग्रुप में नहीं चेंज करेंगे, एक केस ग्रुप में चेंज करेंगे. नाउ हियर एंड हियर आई थिंक इट इज वेरी एथिकल कि आप जब देख रहे हो कि सेम चीज कंट्रोल ग्रुप में भी हो रही है और केस ग्रुप को आप सिर्फ इंटरवीन कर रहे हो, कंट्रोल ग्रुप में तो आप इंटरवीन नहीं कर रहे हो, बट प्रॉब्लम तो आपको कंट्रोल ग्रुप में भी दिख रही है, राइट? सो बट यू कांट कंटामिनेट, क्योंकि आपको एक्सपेरिमेंट भी करना है. तो इन इस सिचुएशन में व्हाट that time I was a young researcher, so I didn't have a say in it, but I observed. What that team did was, उन्होंने इस जिस केस ग्रुप को तो उन्होंने इंटरवेंशन दिया, अब कंट्रोल ग्रुप को उन्होंने कंटिन्यूसली स्टडी करते रहे. जहां पे बहुत सिवियर केस हो जाता था तो दे वुड इंटरवीन एंड उसको हटा देते थे एज अ कंट्रोल, राइट? सो एटलीस्ट दे वर ट्राइंग एथिकली टू बी देयर. तो बहुत वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट बैलेंस हो जाता है, ये बहुत डिफिकल्ट है ये बैलेंस. बट इवन इन आवर प्रोग्राम्स, अब हम क्या देखते हैं, दैट इज वेयर ऑनगोइंग मॉनिटरिंग इज इम्पोर्टेंट. हम अपने प्रोग्राम्स को ओवर टाइम चेंज करते रहते हैं बिकॉज हम कॉन्स्टेंटली प्रोग्राम की पल्स को ना मॉनिटर करते रहते हैं. इन आजाद हम जैसे ही देखते हैं कि वो एथिक्स के जो फॉर एग्जाम्पल हमारा मेन का प्रोग्राम है, मेन का प्रोग्राम हमारा शुरुआत हुआ था, हमने देखा कि वी वर इंटरवीनिंग विद अर्बन मेन जो 25 to 29 के बीच में थे. अब व्हाट वर वी डूइंग, हम उनको लाइवलीहुड से तो नहीं जोड़ रहे थे, हम उनको बोल रहे थे कि आप अपने बिहेवियर को चेंज करो, महिलाओं को हेल्प करो, लाइवलीहुड से जोड़ो. अब when we were monitoring that process, we realized कि वहां ethical dilemma ये है कि those men are being pressurized to get into a job themselves, और आप उनको जाके इंटरवीन कर करके बोल रहे हो कि नहीं नहीं आप महिलाओं को पुश. व्हाट आर दे गोइंग टू डू? वो उनका मॉरल डिलेमा हो जाता है. आर दे गोइंग टू इंटरवीन विद द प्रोग्राम, आर दे गोइंग टू गिव टाइम टू द प्रोग्राम, और आर दे गोइंग टू गिव टाइम टू देयर ओन जॉब्स? सो वी स्टेप्ड बैक and we thought, and then we intervened with younger people. Now we are intervening with a younger group of people who are like 14 to 20 age. वहाँ pressure to get into a job immediately is not there, and also उनकी socialization में change हो सकता है. वो छोटे छोटे change कर सकते हैं, शायद बड़े बड़े ना करें, पर उन छोटे छोटे changes से भी ना, like we say बूंद बूंद से होता है. Over time उनकी, फॉर एग्जाम्पल छोटा सा चेंज मैं बता रही हूँ कि एक लड़के ने क्या किया, उसने कहा मैं अपनी माँ और इंटरवेंशन के बाद थोड़े कुछ दिनों बाद उसने देखा कि मैं और माँ और बहन को एवरी डे उनको यूटेंसिल्स धो के कुछ टाइम देता हूँ सो दैट दे कैन रेस्ट. इट्स अ स्मॉल इंटरवेंशन, वेरी स्मॉल. और उसने यही बोला कि मुझे दिखता है कि माँ को थोड़ा रेस्ट मिलता है, बट इट्स अ बिग स्टेप. एंड एथिक्स के पर्सपेक्टिव से भी उसको कोई डिलेमा भी नहीं है, क्योंकि वो तो अपने घर में है, पढ़ाई कर रहा है. सो दिस कैन बी वन ऑफ द वेज दैट रिसर्च कैन हेल्प द एंटायर प्रोसेस. आई होप आई हैव आंसर्ड सम बिट ऑफ योर क्वेश्चन.
Yes, madam. Yeah. Any other question, please? Kalyani, Praful.
Nice.
Okay, madam, we are trying to document all these lectures in booklet form. So we need your help to get it documented. Thank you very much. Now I request Deepak Shinde sir to present vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I am Deepak Shinde, Assistant Professor, Department of Sociology, KTHM College, Nasik. I am here to present the vote of thanks for today's lecture. The Department of Sociology, KTHM College, Nasik organized 6-day special lecture series on doing qualitative research. I would like to thank Dr. Amrita Gupta ma'am, gave a lecture on qualitative research. Her guidance will be definitely be useful. The research student and all participants. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. I will also thank Dr. V.P. Gaikwad, sir, principal of our college, for always giving us guidance. I would like also thank head of department and all research students who attend the lecture. I would also like to thank our head of department, Dr. Sanjay Savade, sir, for his support and guidance. Thank you, sir. I will also thank my colleague, Dr. Umesh Shinde, sir, Dr. Shashi Malade, Krishna ma'am, Mangesh Gangode, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Anita Workar.
And
For
thank you,
guiding us.
Anita ma'am. I announce that today's this lecture is ended here. See you again next lecture.
Yeah, next lecture will begin very soon. Yeah.
Thank you so
madam.
much. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
we will be in touch.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, bye.
Thank you for calling me. Thank you very much. It was a great experience.
Great. Yeah. Thank you.